Welcome back. So a crazy dude tried to break into JD Vance's house and just like broke a bunch of windows, I guess. Neat. He got arrested, as you could guess. And I don't know, the article doesn't say if Vance was home, but like, could you imagine like the headline if JD would have been home and like this dude would have got through the door? Vice President slays home intruder with Mossberg's shotgun. Like that would be probably the coolest headline in history. Like objectively, that would be the coolest news headline ever. I like. How do you get cooler than Vice President ICE's home intruder? That would be sweet. That would be hilarious. Not like not like Vice President of the school board. Like Vice President of the United States. Iced a fucking home intruder. That would be so rad. I would laugh my ass off. I would love that. That would be hilarious. I mean, like, I don't want to see anyone get iced. That would be bad. Killing people's bad, unless they're pedophiles, because pedophiles aren't people. But that would be an interesting story. That would be hilarious. Fucking hilarious. What possesses someone to be like, I'm gonna break into the vice president's house, or at the very least, I'm gonna go smash his windows. Like, why? That seems dumb. Like you're gonna get fucking arrested or shot. Hang on a second. I put that up like I don't know a month or two ago, just waiting for someone to get pissed off about it, and nobody has yet, which kind of bums me out because I do enjoy annoying people. And communism is very stupid. Maybe we'll talk about that one day. I had planned on reading the book and like highlighting all the dumb ideas, but then I realized I would just be highlighting the whole book. So, you know, like, what's the dumbest part about communism? Communism! It's stupid. But anyway, let's check out this article. Let's check out this article. It's from the AP. A man who broke windows at Vance's home is detained, the Secret Service says. A man who broke windows at Vice President J.D. Vance's Ohio home caused other property damage, was detained early Monday, the U.S. Secret Service said. I think it was Sunday night and a Monday morning. William DeFore, William D. DeFore, is facing federal charges for allegedly damaging government property, engaging in physical violence against property in a restricted area, and assaulting, resisting, or impeding federal officers, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office in Ohio's Southern District. Yeah, it doesn't say if he was home or not. I don't think he was. I would have to assume that he was probably not at home. Let's see if it says. I spelled the wrong. Looks like no. He confirmed that he and his family were not present at the time of the incident and had already returned to DC. I just like I just want to picture the vice president like in a plate carrier with a rifle, just like, come on, bitch! Like that would be so cool. Like he's just like holding the hallway. He's like, come on, come through the door. I swear to God, I'll fucking smoke you. Like you can get some. I mean, yeah, he was like he was basically a journalist in the Marine Corps, but that doesn't mean that he never fought. He saw the shit, and they're not supposed to, but I've heard allegedly that there have been guys that have been like, okay, I'm gonna die now, so I'm gonna go pick up that guy's rifle and not do that because dying is not rad. Like I've heard that there have been some times where they've been like, yeah, I could keep taking pictures and die, or I can fight and live. I'm gonna fight and live. I guess it's not like completely that good, but they're supposed to be because they're press. They're supposed to be non-combatants, but you know, things change. There's also a bunch of like during the Battle of Fallujah, there was a bunch of like mechanics and stuff that were supposed to be non-combatants that were like, all right, well, I'm gonna take this rifle and I'm gonna go shoot some guys. Like I'm gonna go like do that because people are dying here, and yeah, I'm not letting that happen. Which, you know, rad. I there's just something about Marines. I'm glad they exist. Like, I don't think I could be one because I think, but like, they don't. They just do things. They're just like, all right, well, they need to not be here anymore, so I'm gonna go make them past tense. And I could really just picture JD just doing that, just like, all right, well, your pronouns are was were now, so get the fuck out of my house. Bye. Thanks for visiting. Don't ever come back. Oh, you can't because I fucking blew a hole in your chest. Like that would be, and then just I could imagine him just going on fucking Twitter and just like kind of talking shit, just like, yeah, some dude tried to break into my house and he's never gonna do that again. Oh, there's some pictures here. Here, let me pull these pictures up. Got like broken windows and stuff. So I don't know if this was like a break-in attempt or just like a vandalization, but you can see the windows are broken. Just more holes in the windows. I don't know if this was. There's more holes in windows. Yeah, this just shows him walking around. I don't know if this was like, oh yeah, we're gonna prove a point here, or if it was just like, I'm mad at you, so I'm gonna break your window, or if this was like some sort of, was this an act of protest? Was this like, what makes a person want to do something that's stupid? That's kind of cool. I've never seen an undercover Nissan before, or an unmarked Nissan. Kind of cool. I don't know. I just like, I don't get it. Like, why? Like, you're gonna get caught. It's the vice president we're talking about. It's not like you're fucking going to the fucking manager of Applebee's and throwing a rock through their window. Like, it's the vice president of the United States. It's the second most powerful man in the world, and you're gonna go break his windows? Like, first of all, why? That's like fucking something a 10-year-old would do. Like, I'm mad at you, so I'm gonna go bust your window. Like, that makes no sense. This dude was 26. Why did you, like, at no point did you stop and think, I might get shot over this? Or your Trump derangement syndrome is so bad that you're like, oh yeah, no, I'm willing to die to bust the window out of JD Vance's house. It's so dumb. Makes no sense. It makes no fucking sense. What else is going on? Because, stupid, stupid people. And then I guess they asked him, they were like, hey, why did you do that? And he was like, I don't know. Like, cuz. There's some Maduro stuff going on. I don't know. I guess Maduro was talking about, like, getting China and Russia involved and, like, putting warships on the coast of Venezuela, like trying to get Russia and China to put some warships on the coast of Venezuela so they could engage the helicopters that were shooting up the drug boats. I guess I think I don't know how true that is. I don't have like a I don't have like a solid source for that, but like, why? Like, there's so many things that happen, and I'm just like, why? Are you dumb? Like, why would you? Like, does Maduro not think that he put if he got in touch with China and Russia and he was like, hey guys, you want to hang out on my border and fight with America? Does he not think that Russia and China would be like, dude, no, we're not going to war over you? Like, does he think that they would just be like, yeah, sure. Yeah, you're an insignificant country that nobody cares about. So, yeah, we'll go to war. Fuck it. I don't think. Like, either it's bullshit and it never happened, or there's some truth to it, and People are just fucking stupid. I really think people underestimate how stupid most people are. Like I like even presidents and like just people that run businesses, presidents, powerful people, a lot of times are pretty fucking dumb. Like most people are dumb. Most people don't pay attention to the news. Most people just do what they want to do. What's this? Hang on a second. We'll use this up here. Oh yeah, I can't use the New York Times because I'm not paying for the New York Times. Ugh. So RFK Jr. scaled back the number of vaccines recommended for children. Would you piss off? I hate the New York Times. You know, and I should have paid attention, and I should have not clicked on it because I should have seen that it was the New York Times. But I'm retarded and I can't read. See what else is going on. I don't want to click on CNN or NBC or Fox or what's this? Hegseth moves to censure Mark Kelly, review his retirement rank, and pay over seditious video. The dyslexia was kicking in, and the T was in a different place. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth said Mark Kelly, Democrat from Arizona, will receive a formal censure letter that he has directed Secretary of the Navy John Phelan. I don't fucking know. To review the retired Navy captain's rank and pay and provide a recommendation in 45 days, sharply escalating an investigation he allegedly made seditious statements that undermined military operations. Yeah, maybe. 6 weeks ago, Senator Mark Kelly and 5 other members of Congress released a reckless, seditious video that was clearly intended to undermine good order and military discipline. Oh, this is talking about that video where they were like, if you're in the military, you don't have to follow illegal orders. That's what they're talking about. I don't know if that would be sedition. Maybe, because treason would be like aiding another country. So yeah, maybe that's sedition. I don't know. I'm enjoying this new way more than like the planned out. Like, here's what I'm going to talk about. I'm enjoying this way more. So the titles are going to be a lot less accurate though, because there's going to be one thing that I want to talk about. Who knows what else is in there? I don't know. I just there's a lot of this stuff I don't care. Like, I don't care if he gets charged with sedition because it doesn't change anything. The left is still going to do whatever they want to do. The right's still going to sit on their hands. I mean, at least we're seeing some movement. We're seeing something happen. But at the end of the day, like, they're still just sitting on their hands not doing anything. Like, yeah, they might stop one guy from getting his retirement. Big fucking deal. He's retiring. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's like, okay, we're going to stop this one guy from getting his retirement. But what about the 10 people in Congress right now that are still doing seditious stuff? You going to wait till they retire? Like, I don't understand the logic here of like, oh yeah, we'll stop this guy who's retiring. What, because he can't fight back anymore? Because he's retired? Like, why are you going after the retired guy? Go after someone who's still physically in Congress, who's still doing it. Like there's other people that were involved that are still active in Congress. Go after those people. Now, I guess, yeah, you could set the precedent and you could say, you could use him to be like, okay, this was sedition, so anyone else who did it is now guilty of sedition. But like, why go after the guy who's retired? If you go after the guy who's not retiring, it makes it look a whole lot better. It makes it look like you're actually doing something. Instead, we're going to go after the retired guy, and everyone's going to be like, why are you going after the retired guy? He's retired. Let him retire. And I'm not saying let him retire. I'm saying go after someone who, if you get something, we remove one of them from Congress. So now there's 2 less people pushing sedition because the one guy already retired. He's got no power. Now, just say for argument's sake, say it was AOC. And they find that it's sedition. So now they charge AOC with sedition and they arrest AOC. Well, now we've removed two people from office. Now we can go after the other people involved and we can start arresting those people. But like, no, they just sit on their hands and they go after the easy target. Republicans are such cowards. This is why I'm beginning to hate politics, is because it's like there's no tactics in it. Like, and I'm not saying I'm like some tactical genius, but like the right has no tactics when it comes to this stuff. They're just like, well, I'm mad at Mark Kelly, so I'm going to go after Mark. Was it Mark Kelly? I don't want to say the wrong name. Someone will be like, "You're an idiot." Yeah, Mark Kelly. But yeah, it's like I'm mad at Mark Kelly for what Mark Kelly said, so I'm gonna go after Mark Kelly. Well, hit him where it hurts. He's telling these people that are still in office to do these things. Hit him where it hurts and go after the people that are still in office, because then he has no one to talk to say, hey, do this, do that. Hey, say this, say that. He's retired, but he can still make a phone call and say, hey, John, I want you to make a video saying that these actions are illegal and service members don't have to follow them. And it can still happen. But if we start arresting the people in Congress that are doing these things, then he's got nobody to call. Like, what? It's not that hard. It's not rocket surgery. I don't know. It makes no sense to me. It makes no fucking sense to me. Like, it really just, I don't get it. What else is going on? What else is going on? Let's see what CBS is going on. More Venezuela stuff. Mark Kelly stuff. Administration halting $10 billion in social service funding to 5 states. I don't care. Democrat marks 5 years since January 6th Capitol attack. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. It wasn't. That's not what it was at all. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's much going on, honestly. 2,000 agents deploying to Minneapolis in immigration crackdown fraud probe. Who is she? She's a fucking moron. I don't like her. I forget what her name is. I can't remember her name. Christy Nome? Is that her? Is that Christy Nome? I don't know. This chick's dumb. She's fucking always wearing little costumes and shit. It's like, lady, you're one of the most powerful people in government. Like, you report to the president. Quit playing these fucking bullshit games with your little costumes and shit. Like, she's dumb. She's fucking dumb. I don't fucking like her. See what's on YouTube. See if there's anything good on YouTube. Instead of watching these fucking... Oh, yeah, look at that. I'm on YouTube. Cool. We should just watch me talk to me about me. Did you guys know about this? About this government cheese tunnels and the got milk conspiracy? Like, it was a whole thing where like the government started subsidizing dairy farms because we needed milk during like World War One or World War Two or something, or during the Great Depression, somewhere World War One Depression or World War Two, somewhere in that chunk of history where everything kind of blurs together until World War Two happened. Anyway, so the government like bought or started paying subsidies to dairy farmers, and the dairy farmers were like, "Cool, free money." And then like after a while, the production of milk picked up, and they were producing too much milk, and so the government was like, "Well, we still have to buy X amount because we promised to buy X amount for X number of years. So what do we do with all this milk?" And then someone was like, you make cheese out of milk. I mean, that buys us some time, right? So by the end of it, there's caves full of cheese. And that's where the term government cheese comes from, is there was actually like the Velveeta bricks. They would hand those out. And it was a whole thing. It was hilarious that it happened. It's just funny as fuck. That like the government fucked up, and now there's the government fucked up, and now there's underground cheese caves. Oh, what's this? I guess Maduro says he's still president and he's not guilty. Big shock. I've never met anyone in prison that's guilty. There's very few people that are like, oh yeah, I did that. Maybe you get some dude that murdered a pedo and he's like, yeah, 100% murdered that guy. He deserved it. He was a piece of shit. Let's see what they want.
News that we are following this morning.
I've changed the thing over so it don't sound like Dookie. You get that mad echo if I don't. Where did I go? Uh-oh. There I are. Technical difficulties. Let's see what controlled opposition has to say.
Some other news that we are following this morning now at 5:36. Former Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro has his first day in U.S. federal court and proclaiming his innocence.
This is, of course, following his dramatic arrest over the weekend and his country's future hanging in the balance. Doug Lazader has been tracking all of this from Washington this morning, has more on what's happening now and how a lot of lawmakers are responding. Good morning, Doug.
Good morning. The operation to arrest Maduro continues to divide Washington, even as lawmakers learn more in a classified briefing on how the administration pulled it off.
A former Venezuelan leader, Nicolas Maduro, whisked by helicopter to his first New York court appearance. He told the judge at his arraignment for drug and weapons charges, "I am innocent. I am not guilty. I am a decent man. I am still president of my country."
Secretary Rubio, who's currently in charge of Venezuela, sir?
On Capitol Hill, administration officials last night, including Secretary of State Marco Rubio, briefed congressional leaders behind closed doors about the operation. No minds appeared to change.
When the United States engages in this kind of regime change and so-called nation building, it always ends up hurting the United States.
It's overdue, and everyone will be safer because this has happened. So stay tuned for the further developments.
But even as Venezuela's vice president was sworn in to lead the country in Maduro's absence, there are questions about where the country goes from here.
You're looking at double-digit billions of dollars.
Energy analysts talk about the massive investments needed to rehabilitate Venezuela's oil sector at a time when already low gas prices don't provide a big incentive for oil companies to spend. And gas prices may continue to drop.
A little bit of that depends on what happens in Venezuela.
Why do they say gas prices continue to drop like it's a bad thing? Like, you realize that most of us are struggling to get to work when gas is $4 a gallon. Like, there were definitely times where I drove to work, not sure if I was going to make it to work, so that I actually ran out of gas a couple weeks ago because the fucking gas prices spiked a little bit. And it was like, oh, yikes, I don't really have the extra to get gas right now, so I'll wait until I get paid so I can fill her up. Because if it's, you know, it was pushing $3.15 or something like that. I'm like, if it's that expensive, I'm going to wait a couple days. And by the time I waited a couple days, I was like, yo, I'm getting real low on gas. Now, granted, I had a 5-gallon can with me. I keep it on my roof rack, but that fell off when I rolled the Jeep, so I need to get that reattached. But I digress. I keep a 5-gallon can on the roof rack because my gas gauge doesn't work right. And if you have a roof rack or an off-road vehicle, I would strongly recommend just carrying a 5-gallon can. Even if you have a pickup, throw a 5-gallon jerry can in the bed. It ain't hurting nothing. You got 5 gallons of gas. Come across someone who's broke down. Hey, I got a couple gallons of gas, man. Get to the gas station. Someone ran out of gas on the side of the road. Here's a couple gallons. Get out of here. Like, you don't sit here on the side of the road waiting for someone to come wreck into you or waiting for you to freeze to death. Go on and get, especially in the wintertime. Carrying 5 gallons around in the wintertime. Like, I'm not saying you should be obligated to give people free gas. I'm saying, like, it's human decency. If you see someone broke down, especially if they have kids with them or if it's dark or whatever, on the road and you stop and you're like, hey, are you okay? And they're like, yeah, I'm out of gas. Well, hey, I got 5 gallons. Like, let's get you to a gas station. it's not hard to take 2 minutes and be a person, you know? That always kills me is because I'm a capitalist, right? And I believe in making money. But I also believe in being a decent person. I don't believe in putting money over morals. And so many people are like, oh, capitalists, they do bad things to make money. And I'm like, yeah, because they're bad people. Like, you can be a capitalist and not be a piece of shit. There's a distinction there. Anyway, it just kills me. They're like, gas prices are coming down. Oh, and it's like, this is Fox News. And it's like, yeah, gas prices are coming down, and that's a good thing. Like that's your takeaway from this whole Maduro bullshit is gas prices are coming down, and how dare they come down? That's the whole takeaway we have from this. Thanks, Fox. Like they said nothing other than complaining about gas prices dropping. Cool. Let's see what else there is. Bunch of off-road stuff. Oh, hey, this guy's talking about knives. There's more that I was talking about yesterday. Michael Rockefeller got eaten. Yeah, we probably know that. Yeah, there's not really much else to talk about. I do like these videos about gray man theory. Long story short, gray man theory is basically you dress like how normal people dress. So like normally I'm wearing the grunt style shirts with the flag over here, and like they say something silly or tactical or 2A related. That's not gray man. This is a gray man shirt because like tons of people wear these. This and jeans and hiking boots is like gray man. Even though I walk around and I still find myself looking more put together than most people. Most people are going out in like sweatpants and they barely look like people. Like, it just kills me because like, how do you go out in public in fucking sweatpants? Like, I couldn't. I could never. Yeah, there's not much else going on. This was a really good video. If you haven't watched it, I love the Fat Electrician. Worth a watch. I'm not going to sit here and talk about it for 30 minutes. Oh, I saw this. I want to talk about this. This was in Ohio.
Hi everyone, Donut here. I hope everyone has
Hi, Donut.
a very Merry
Everyone
Christmas.
here.
New Year's is a couple days away, and I just want to say, first off, you guys better not be doing any drinking or driving. If you're boofing the wild turkey, get an Uber. That's what my grandfather used to say. Boy, do I have a freaking unhinged video for everyone to watch today. This is one of the craziest videos I've ever seen out of the 1,000+ videos on this channel. It's a simple shoplifting detention inside of a Walmart. The most shoplifted place ever. I've personally been in fights with shoplifters in Walmart multiple times over shoplifting.
If you don't know who Donut is, Donut was in the Navy for a while, and then he was a cop for a while, and then he found a cat and went viral because he found a cat. Literally the most, how did that happen story ever. I mean, that's oversimplified. Like, he was trying for a while, but, like, the cat picture, like, went viral, and then he was like, hey, that's me! I'm that guy! I'm the cat guy! And, yeah, it was really, really, like, heartwarming story, like, forever ago. And now people think he's a Nazi because reasons, I guess.
Always lithium batteries. Why is it always lithium batteries? Oh, meth, that's right. The last guy that tried to stab me was snorting meth for 3 days straight. Crazy. Anyways, we got a guy in the loss prevention office. He's been shoplifting, and it turns into attempted murder of a police officer like that. You don't want to miss it. Before we get into absolute chaos in the Walmart, never happens, we got a Georgia State trooper pulling over a 120-mile-an-hour death wish. 100? What the f did I just say? And we got a hostage situation, because what would a video be on this channel without a hostage situation? In that video, an officer threads shots around an innocent woman like it's nothing. Just an everyday thing at the office. Stick around because this is going to be a hell of a video. But first, oh, speaking of ADD break, not that. News story I came across the other day. Speaking of Walmart, razor blades found in muffin and loaves of bread at Biloxi Walmart stores, police say. Over the past 11 days, razor blades were found in several bakery items from 2 Biloxi Walmart locations, according to the Biloxi Police Department. Calls were...
Am I the only one that when I buy bread, I give it a little squeeze to make sure the bag's sealed? Like, is that just me? Or am I just, like, retarded? Am I the only one that does that? Like, because it's got the little twist tie thing that's supposed to seal it, right? So I'll just give it a little squish and like making sure the bread squishes right. You got to have the right amount of squish, and then the bag will kind of inflate a little bit because you're squishing it, and like it's like, oh cool, the bag's sealed, and like the bread's good. Like, I don't know, it's a thing for me. Now my wife just makes bread, so we don't buy bread very often.
Weren't made to police at the time.
You can see where the slice though is. Like, why would you buy that? There's clearly a slice right here.
Time of the December 5th and December 7th incidents. A viewer sent the photos below showing a loaf of bread she bought at the Walmart Supercenter on Sunday. December 18th, 2025, Canton, Ohio, 1:45 p.m.
That's like 45 minutes from me, by the way. Like, there's a probability that I've been in this Walmart.
What you're looking at is the Walmart Loss Prevention Office. Two shoplifters from the trailer park sitting on a couch, and it's a little bit too calm, especially for Walmart. Immediately, the male suspect starts blaming his partner.
I told her not to steal, bro.
Which is incredible because the store employees saw him stuffing his shit into her bag too.
You did it too, so we're gonna look on her. You watched you walk over and put an item in the bag off the shelf.
That story falls apart instantly. While this is happening, something subtle and absolutely terrifying is going on. The male suspect turns away from the camera and starts reaching into a bag that's strapped to his body. Pretty freaking shady. Nobody innocent really reaches like that. Then everything explodes. The suspect turns back around with a handgun, points it directly at the officer, and pulls the trigger. Click. The gun doesn't fire. Let that sink in. This guy tried to kill a police officer over a couple of $100.
I want to point out my brother and I were talking about this, and my brother was like, no, I don't think the gun didn't fire. I think that he never pulled the trigger. And you can see that slight muzzle drop, and if you've ever watched someone shoot, you know that's anticipation. That adrenaline dump kills your fine motor skills, and you anticipate and you tense your whole hand. You tense everything when you pull that trigger because you're anticipating the recoil of the gun. That's why dry fire fixes anticipation so much, is because you just get used to pulling the trigger and the gun doesn't move. And then when you present it and you pull the trigger, your brain doesn't do anything because you've been dry firing so much that you understand that the gun's not going to move. And then you break that shot and the gun doesn't move. But you can see him dump, just real briefly, dumps the front of that gun. Wrong button. I'm retarded.
Maybe of stolen merchandise. Dude tries to manipulate the gun again, and a loss prevention dude in a white shirt becomes a hero.
Hey! No!
You can hear the firing pin click too.
LP man grabs the suspect's wrist and points the gun down. It's hard for the officer right now because the employee, the LP guy's in the line of fire, and also the hippo is next to the suspect. So the officer yells for him to get back. Employee jumps away, and immediately the officer delivers a flying knee straight to the suspect's chest. And at the same time, completely annihilates this guy's future bloodline. Gets some of that knee straight to the nuggets.
I like that he holsters and just starts beating the shit out of this kid.
Need help. Give us your hands.
The suspect drops the gun right around here, but it's kind of hard to see, and the officer couldn't tell that in real time. All he knows is this guy just tried to shoot him. The officer holsters up, throws a few punches to get...
I just want to ask the serious question here. Why does the cop have a shittier gun than the criminal? Oh, wait. Because gun control never works and criminals get guns. Duh. If I was the cop, I would seriously consider asking the chief if I could switch with the criminal's gun. Because it looks like they're both using Glock 19s.
Gang compliance, throws the suspect to the ground, and suddenly every single Walmart employee that was working that day joins the fight. They cuff the dude, secure the gun. Nobody's injured, which is insane. Now let's be very clear for a moment. This went from a misdemeanor shopping detention to attempted murder of a police officer to multiple violent felony charges. That loss prevention employee right there deserves a massive raise. Give that man a badge. And our suspect, well, he turned stealing some random shit from Walmart into decades in prison. Those are all the incidents I wanted to talk about today. If you want to help support this channel, you can go on over to Don't.
if you're gonna be fucking dumb, you gotta be tough, I guess. And this guy was fucking really dumb and not very tough. Like, this guy was an idiot. Real fucking idiot. I really enjoy Donut's breakdown of things. How did I not see this? Have you guys ever heard of the Bundy Ranch standoff? I might have watched this, actually. Yeah, so basically, the government, it was all over like cattle or something. The government was like, you can't graze here. And Bundy family was like, yeah, we can. We paid to graze here for like X number of years. And the government was like, sucks to suck. We said you can't now. And they're like, yeah, but we paid you for like 10 years of grazing privileges. And now you're taking that away from us. And it turned into a standoff. There was a shootout. It was super, super, super cool story. It's one of those stories of like, oh yeah, you can win against the government if you do things right. And there was no reason people had to be shot at. And if I remember correctly, I think the government escalated that as well. They're really good at escalating things. Anything else? No? I don't think so. There's nothing else I really want to talk about. Drunk mom gets her 5th DUI and isn't happy. Yeah, if you drink and drive, you're a degenerate. And this is coming from someone who has drinked and drived. There's been more than one time where I drove drunk, and it's fucking stupid. Like, why? Why? And, you know, when I did it, well, it was fun. And my buddies were in the back of my truck, and they were handing me beers. And, like, yeah, it was fun. We were ripping down back roads. I mean, at least we were ripping down back roads and not, like, doing it in town, in the city. But, like, still, it's a terrible idea. As someone who's done it, don't fucking do it. Because you're a fucking degenerate if you do. And yes, I was a fucking degenerate. Some Crusade stuff. Really nothing I'm interested in talking about anymore. I think that's about it. Yeah, there's a bunch of Jeep stuff. I'm actually gonna watch this later. I don't know if you guys care about Jeep stuff. I do love the TJ, and then there's another Wrangler that came out that is the same body, but it's slightly longer right here between the fender and the door. It's called the LJ, not to be confused with the JL, which is the current generation of Wrangler. The LJs are sweet, but they're so hard to find. Like, they are so badass because they got that little bit extra. It's like a foot longer, and just that little bit extra makes it so much more comfortable and so much more usable as like a vehicle. If you were gonna buy one vehicle, like I have my Cherokee. That's my daily driver, my trail rig, my road trip vehicle. That's my everything. I have one vehicle to do it all. If it's not a Jeep LJ, I would say a Jeep WJ. Here's the Jeep WJ is a Grand Cherokee, and had I known then what I know now, this is the WJ. I probably would have bought a WJ over the Cherokee, the XJ that I have. And this is the XJ that I want to have. It's this is my inspiration for everything I build on mine. I really like the way this is set up, but there's some things that I would change about it. But you know, simple little XJs are great. They're awesome, but the WJ, it's bigger inside. It's bigger overall. It has way nicer interior. The XJ is kind of rugged. The WJ has nicer interior, has better cup holders, things like that. Just, there's creature comforts that you don't really realize you want. Like, my Jeep doesn't even have cup holders. It didn't come with them. I had like this thing that bolted into the center console with some like little screws, but it broke when I rolled it over, so I have to figure out how to make that work. my nephew gave me a center console from a newer XJ that has a set of cup holders, but I have to clean it up and I have to buy some brackets to move my parking brake and stuff. It's a whole pain in the ass, but that's a possibility down the road. I might do that, but just things like cup holders. Yeah, I would definitely recommend the WJ. Also, I think you can get these with heated seats. You can get them with a V8. Like you can get these things loaded. Do they have heated seats? I think they do. Yeah, so you can get heated seats in the WJ. That's not an option in the XJ. At least I don't think so. I mean, yeah, you can really deck out a WJ. If if I were gonna suggest a vehicle, it would be the WJ with the V8 because you're gonna have plenty of power to run big tires. You're still gonna be able to tow with it. You're still gonna be able to do whatever you want to do. I mean, you could put a WJ on 35s with the V8 and still probably have enough power that you don't have to re-gear your axles right away. If you put an XJ on 35s, good luck, because mine struggles to do the speed limit on 33s. So good luck. WJs are cool though. They're dope. I love me a WJ. This is what they look like without like lift kits and shit. That's what you're getting in stock. And I mean, even that is just like a spare vehicle, just a backup plan in case your car breaks down or whatever. Like you can pick these things up for like $3 or $4 grand, and they're great. You can buy a shitty one for like $1,500, $2,000, and I mean you can turn it into something like that you can drive around when it storms or whatever. If you're like me and you live in where it snows, you can even go something simple like this. I mean, that's just a small lift kit and some bigger tires. I would definitely do a good bumper. That's a terrible picture. I guess it's not increasing in resolution. Yeah, they're super rad trucks. I enjoy them. There you go. And get a nice beefy bumper and learn how to weld because a lot of the bumpers for the WJs are welded together. You have to build your own bumper. Like basically the middle part is already built where like your winch goes and everything, that's already built and it bolts to the frame. But then like the outsides, you have to weld that all together. They're pretty easy to do. It's just like if you're not a great welder, you're going to ride the struggle bus on it because it's going to look like shit. And then you're going to be grinding it and re-welding and grind and re-weld and grind and re-weld. It's not going to come out looking great. But I mean, it is what it is. You're going to be taking it in the woods and banging it off rocks and stuff. It doesn't have to be pretty. I digress. Yeah, that's the things that's going on. Maybe something interesting will happen by this afternoon, and we'll have something good to talk about tomorrow. But I don't know. We touched everything that my tism could handle, from someone trying to break into the president's house all the way down to Jeeps. We tickled all the tisms. I do have to say, Donut is very pro-police, and he calls out bad cops. And something I've noticed, at least where I live, is the number of bad cops is steadily increasing. For no reason. Well, actually, I think the reason's pretty simple. No one wants to do it because people have demonized the police for so long, called the police pieces of shit and degenerates and fucking everything under the sun. I believe that cop in that video was probably a good one, but I'm at the point where I don't necessarily back the blue anymore. Like, too many cops now are going to do what they have to do to get a paycheck, or they're going to do what they have to do to get promoted, or they just don't care. Like, for example, the officer that responded to my wife's accident 2 weeks ago. I could put his name out there, but I'm not going to. Just a piece of shit. Just a raging asshole for no reason. We tried to get her car off the road and the gas pedal broke off because it's plastic. And when she got hit, her foot like slipped off brake pedal and broke the gas pedal. So he's like telling us to hurry up, and I'm like, it's only going as fast as it goes because the gas pedal's broken. And he like immediately started, well, then I'm towing it. It's getting towed to the impound. And I'm like, well, let me push it. Like, don't tow it. Like, that's unnecessary. We're 2 blocks from my house. Don't, like, you're just making more work for everybody. Like, I'll tow it home. Like, don't do that. And then he threatened to arrest me because I was like, I can tow it home. Like, just let me push it into this parking lot here. Like move so I can push the car. Like, he's standing behind the car, and I'm like, just move so I can push the car, and like I'll have it off the road. And he threatens to arrest me. Like, what a piece of shit. And so then, I started getting heated, and I walked away, but not after I told him what I thought about him, which probably wasn't the best idea. Probably didn't help. But like, how are you going to threaten to arrest me because I'm like, the car's moving, it's just not moving fast enough, and I'm like, let me push it because I don't need the car towed, because they towed it to the next town over. We were in the city I live in. They towed it to the next town over. It ended up costing me $375 to get the car out of the tow yard because they were closed because it was a holiday weekend. It was the 26th that she got in the accident. So they were closed Friday, Saturday, Sunday. By the time we got down there Monday, we got charged for all 4 days for storage fees plus the tow. It ended up costing us $375, all because this guy's fucking ego got hurt or something. Like, and then he continued to try to escalate the situation over and over and over again. Like, this dude is a shitty cop. He's a bad cop. They're out there. But I don't think I can back the blue anymore, knowing that people like him are just out there. Like, I never was a big back the blue guy either, because there's a lot of cops that when they say, hey, go take the guns, there's a lot of cops that are going to be like, you got it, boss. I need a paycheck. I need to retire. There's a lot of cops that will say no, absolutely not. Small town cops will say no, absolutely not. So I've kind of adopted this policy of I will not help in any way the police in my town, because they're useless. I don't want to deal with them. I don't want to help them. I'm not saying if one of them was about to die, I'm not going to do something. Of course I would. Of course I'm going to save someone's life, regardless of what they do. But like, I'm not going to talk to you. I'm not going to help you. I got nothing to say to you. I don't want to talk to you. I got nothing to say to you because you guys don't do anything. My neighbor's dog was attacking people, and my neighbor's dog is violent, and my neighbor's dog gets loose pretty frequently because she was just on a cheap little chain. She would slip her collar. She would, get off the chain, whatever. And I'm outside my driveway the one day, and this dog is in my driveway barking at me. And normally, you make a little bit of noise and she runs off. She would get aggressive with people, but usually if you just kind of yelled at her, she would skedaddle. Well, she bit me. She came at me, she bit me. I kicked the fuck out of her, and I don't feel bad about it. I do love dogs, but I don't feel bad about booting that mutt. I booted that bitch. All 4 legs came off the ground. And I mean, she's a smaller dog, but she's big enough that she could do some damage. And my pants stopped her from breaking skin, but I mean, she drug teeth into my calf and across my shin. Like, I could feel where she bit me, but she didn't break the teeth because I moved my leg and she got the pants. She got me, she just didn't get into me. And so I booted her and she ran off. And so, as you do, it's like, well, I should probably report this because had I had my gun with me, I would have shot her. So I should probably report this. So I made a police report, and they were basically like, nothing we can do. I'm like, dude, I got bit. I can show you where she bit me. Like, there's a mark. She didn't break the skin. There's a mark. Like, what do you want me to do? And they're basically like, they're basically like, there's nothing we can do. I'm like, well, what can I do? And they're like, and I'm like, what? You're not helping me here. I'm like, I carry 99% of the time. What happens if I shoot this dog? And they're like, oh, well, you'd probably get arrested for discharging a firearm within city limits. I'm like, so you won't do anything. If I do something, you're going to arrest me for defending myself. What? If I protect myself from this animal that is vicious, that I've told you about, this animal's vicious. If I protect myself from this animal, you're going to arrest me for discharging a firearm within city limits? Or maybe you said you'd be fined or something. Regardless, like, you're going to fine me for protecting myself from a violent animal? And I'm like, well, what about, in the event that I do shoot and kill the dog, what are the consequences to that? Am I going to be charged criminally? Like, what is that? And the cop's like, well, it's just a property damage case, basically. And I'm like, so I've got documentation with you that this dog's aggressive. And he's like, yes. I'm like, okay. So if this dog attacks me again, and I shoot and kill this dog, I still get in trouble? And he's like, most likely. What the fuck's the point? What's the point of you guys? Like, I made a complaint so that I have a record of this happening. So that in the future, I don't get fucked because something happened with this dog. And you tell me that I'm going to get fucked regardless. Well, what was the point of any of this? It's a joke. It's a fucking joke. So I'm at the point where, they basically don't do anything. Yeah, I've done burnouts down my street. Cop cars drive by. They don't do anything. The cops around here are useless. Why am I going to help you? Why am I going to support you? All you care about is a paycheck. Why am I going to support you? Why am I going to help you? I'd be more inclined to support like a county sheriff and help a county sheriff out than I would local cops. I mean, they're pretty useless. And to the cop that started escalating the situation with my wife's accident, he claims that he was the only cop on duty in the whole city. Now, it's a relatively small city, and I would say, yeah, maybe we had 3 or 4 officers on duty. It's really hard to believe that he was the only cop on duty. At what point, just take him at his word, say he's the only cop on duty. At what point does escalating a situation seem like a good idea? When you have a younger husband and wife here that are like, hey, we don't have money for you to tow this. Can we push it into this parking lot and we'll get it home in a little bit? Like, we'll figure something out in a little bit to get it home. Like, I'll go rent a U-Haul, whatever. It'll be off the street. I'll go rent a U-Haul. I'll tow it home. It's 2 blocks. Let me figure something out. And then you escalate the situation. But logically, if you're the only cop on duty, I wouldn't escalate a damn thing, because where is the backup? Yeah, I understand the next city's over might be able to come, or a state trooper or a county sheriff might be able to come. But I mean, not to sound cocky, this dude was old and out of shape. I'm a little out of shape, but this dude was probably in his mid-40s. I'm 28. I got almost 20 years on this dude. Like, if I were some loon, if I were some crazy, unhinged, off-the-wall dude, or if I were just someone who really hates cops and if you slight me, I'm gonna fight you. And you are the only cop. And I went after him. Just say for argument's sake that I did. That's a terrible idea. So if you're one of these cops that likes to escalate things, think about where your backup is before you start escalating, because, like, you don't know who you're dealing with. I'm not saying that in a threatening way. I'm not saying, like, oh, I'll beat the shit out of any cop. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, like, I have a friend who's schizophrenic. If he didn't take his medication, he might have a mood swing, or he might have the voices in his head might convince him, like, yo, this dude's trying to kill you. Do something about it. You don't know who you're dealing with. You don't know if they're okay. You don't know if they're not okay. You don't know if they have a problem like schizophrenia, or if they have bipolar disorders or whatever. And unfortunately for my friend, he has both schizophrenia and bipolar. And he has been in situations with police where in his brain, he thinks these guys are legitimately trying to hurt me. These guys, they're trying to kidnap me. Like, he doesn't understand, like he knows he did something wrong. He knows he has to deal with the police, but those voices in his head convince him, like, no, dude, they're trying to kidnap you. They want to kill you. Like, he understands being arrested. He's a normal person. I mean, he's not retarded. Well, maybe a little bit. Maybe just a wee bit. But I digress. He's not retarded. He understands right from wrong. He knows that he did wrong. He knows that what he did was illegal. It was just say for argument's sake, he got into a street fight. And he knows that, like, okay, yeah, it was a street fight. Like, it's assault. Like, yeah, whatever. They show up, they can't determine who started it, so they can't determine that it was self-defense, so both parties get arrested. And he's like, no, I was defending myself. And this is somewhat a true story. It's a true situation. The story is not necessarily what happened here. But he's like, no, I was defending myself. I didn't attack this guy. This guy attacked me. I'm defending myself. And they're like, sucks to suck, tell it to the judge, you're both going to jail. And he's like, but I didn't do anything wrong. And then he gets panicked. Like, they're trying to take me, and I didn't do nothing wrong. They're trying to take me. Why are they trying to take me? And then, them voices, man, they're like, run, doobie, run. Fucking, like, run, get out of here. Don't, like, fight back. Don't let them take you. You didn't do nothing wrong. And then he ends up catching charges for assault. And it's like, if they'd have just known who they were talking to, the situation would have never happened. If they'd have just been like, hey, man, listen, we got to take you to the down to the police station. We got to get statements and stuff. Like, yeah, he'd have probably cooperated. But instead, they're like, yeah, handcuffs, don't care. Tell it to the judge. And no, I'm not saying that they should lie to people that have schizophrenia, but, like, if it stops you from getting punched in the face, maybe tell a little fib, I don't know. I don't back the blue anymore. Oh, God, these things are sour. I got these things. My niece turned me on to these. They're amazing. But that first, like, when you first pop them in your face, holy fuck, they're sour. Oh, God. But then they're really good. You get these on Amazon. They're called retro sours. They're so good. But my throat's starting to dry out. It's going to be a little candy or something to re-moisten it. But yeah, I don't know. I just... After hearing some of the accounts of somebody who... He's a functional person. He's not locked in his house 24/7, cooped up crazy. But he gets anxiety really easily. He gets anxious about shit really easily. Part of that is the paranoid schizophrenia, and part of that is I think he's bipolar as well. I might be wrong on the bipolar, but it's the paranoid schizophrenia that gets him. Is he thinks people are out to get him. And there's been times where we've been having conversations, and I can tell, like, oh, the thing's happening. He's getting the paranoid thing because he gets real confrontational. And it's like, I'm not trying to be confrontational. And I have to remind him, like, yo, I'm just fucking with you. Like, I'm just trying to wind you up a little bit. I'm not being confrontational. I'm not doing this to hurt you. I'm just giving you shit. And just that little reminder, and he's like, okay, cool. And then everything's good again. But, like, sometimes, you don't know that it's about to happen, and sometimes he starts getting confrontational and angry and upset, and it's like, no, dude, no, I'm just teasing you. I'm just fucking with you. Like, I'm fucking with you because you're my friend. Anyone else does it, I'm gonna lose my shit. But because we're friends, and I know that when it goes too far, I can say, hey, dude, chill. I'm just kidding. I'm just teasing. These cops don't know that. Why would you escalate? Like, that cop didn't know if I was bipolar. That cop didn't know if I was unhinged. That cop didn't know if I hated cops and I was driving there listening to music about murdering cops, and I was like, today's the day. Let him give me a reason. He didn't know anything about me. I showed up. I said, that's my wife. What can I do? How can I help? And he started threatening to arrest me 15 minutes later because I offered to push the car out of traffic. It's obscene, absurd. I'm sorry. And I told him, like, this is unnecessary. Like, why are you doing this? Like, you're fucking us here. Like, we don't have a ton of money. Like, we have to pay to fix the car. We don't know who's at fault. The insurance company's going to take weeks. I need this car to be drivable in days. You're fucking me here. You're cutting into the amount of time I have to fix the car. Now you're cutting into the amount of money I have to fix the car. Work's been slow. I can't afford all this. And he tells me that's what you have insurance for. Now you can get off my scene or you can go to jail. Because I'm asking you for a favor? You're going to arrest me for asking for a favor? Asking you to be a person and fucking take into consideration that, like, not everyone has the money for this kind of bullshit? Like, let me get this off the road and figure it out myself. I'll get it taken care of. But no. I don't care. You have insurance. Go away or go to jail. Those are your options. Didn't do nothing to this guy. I was polite. I'll get my wife on here. She'll tell you. I was polite. I was nice to him. I wasn't mean to him. I didn't even speak to him until, I was talking to my wife. I was making sure that my wife got all the questions. My wife's been in 2 accidents. I've been in a couple, so I know how to handle an accident. So I'm making sure she's okay. I'm making sure she got all the information we're going to need, which she didn't because Officer Friendly started shit. And then my mother showed up because, I called her and I'm like, hey, I'm going to need to borrow cash to get Daisy's car out of the impound because the cop's impounding it because reasons. And, like, his reason was, like, the car didn't move fast enough, so it's getting towed. And I'm like, the car moves. Let me get it off the road. He's like, no, fuck you. Like, it's getting towed. Fuck you. And he said it was impounded. We went to pay the impound fees. There were no impound fees. So was it impounded? Kind of, technically. Yeah, I guess. But, like, just why did you escalate the situation at all? Like, you didn't know if I had a weapon on me. You didn't know if, for all this guy knows, I could be a UFC fighter. I could be a fucking MMA fighter. Like, I could have just ragdolled this dude and started going to town on him, especially considering that he's saying, I'm the only officer on duty. Well, why are you escalating the situation if you're the only officer on duty? Wouldn't it just be a lot easier to be like, I give you 15 minutes, dude, get it off the road, and I don't care. Like, if you're the only cop on duty, I'm going to be like, whatever, man. Like, you do you, I guess. I don't care. Instead of being an asshole and escalating the situation. I see a lot of times where cops escalate situations for no fucking reason, especially with motorcyclists. I see that a lot with guys riding crotch rockets where cops just immediately come in at 1,000 degrees and it's just a fight and they escalate and they escalate and they escalate. And so, no, I'm sorry, I can't back the blue. Because when it comes time to be a person, when it comes time to just interact on a human level, they want to escalate time and time again. And I'm seeing more of these kind of cops. They want to escalate. Or, for example, I got pulled over for speeding, and the cop wrote me a seatbelt ticket. Well, I was wearing my seatbelt. How are you writing me a seatbelt ticket? I was wearing it. You're saying that I committed a crime that I did not commit. You're writing me a ticket for a crime that I didn't commit, and I can't argue with it, because if I argue with it and he tells the judge, well, I wrote him a seatbelt ticket instead of the speeding ticket, the judge would be like, cool, you were speeding, so how about we just enforce the speeding ticket? Like, the system's just set up that there is nothing you can do to deal with the corruption and the bullshit. And I've known that where I live, the police department's corrupt for a long time. I'll just give you a little story real quick. I got a Mustang. Originally it was a 2000. And I wrecked the car, and they impounded it. I didn't do anything illegal aside from wrecking the car. I did get cited for failure to control because I spun out. Basically, I was coming around a corner, and I slid the car sideways, and I hit another car. I got cited for failure to control. They impounded my car, which I wasn't drunk. I wasn't running from the cops. I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't doing anything impound worthy. Right? There has to be a crime committed for an impound. Losing control is not a justified crime for impound, at least not in Ohio. They impounded my car. They impounded the other car. The other car wasn't even at fault. This was completely my fault. They impounded both cars. How do you do that? That's not even close to legal. So I went to get the car because I wanted the engine and the transmission out of it. I had found another body. I had purchased the body, I had found the body and I was talking to the guy about it. I got the car, got the engine and transmission pulled out of it, put the engine and transmission into the new body, and then I had a new car. New title and everything, new paperwork, so the original car doesn't exist anymore. But the whole situation was just like, you stole people's vehicles. And I understand, yeah, this sounds very libertarian, like, yes, cops can impound people's vehicles. But how do you impound my vehicle when I didn't commit a crime? I didn't do anything illegal. I could understand if I was shithouse drunk and they were like, your car's impounded. You're shithouse drunk. Okay, yeah. Do I think it's right? No. But I really believe where I live, there's a huge violation of your right against search and seizure, because they're just taking your shit and they're taking it wherever they want, and then you have to pay them a shitload of money to get your shit back. It's like, how is this legal? How are you doing this? And they have, oh, well, it's a temporary hold. Well, how is it a temporary hold if every day that it's held, I have to pay fees for it, and those fees quickly exceed what most people have to be able to pay for this car? When I went to pick up my Mustang, the tow was $300, and the storage fees were another $300. They wanted over $600 for the car back, and I told them, I'm not giving you that. I said, I'll pay you for the tow, and that's all I'm going to pay for, and I'm going to get my car back. And they argued with me for a minute, and I was like, I can pay you for the tow, or I can leave and I can contact an attorney because I'm sure this isn't legal. And they were like, well, I was like, I don't owe you anything because I didn't ask you to tow my car here. I didn't ask for my car to be brought here. I asked for my car to be towed to my house, and I would pay for the tow. Your driver said no and towed it here. I didn't ask for this. The fucking police officer had it impounded. The fucking tow truck driver brought it here. I didn't ask for any of this. I don't owe you shit. I'll pay you for the tow. I'm not paying you for the storage fees because you kept my shit you didn't even contact me. You just took my shit. So eventually we went back and forth for a minute, and they were like, all right, whatever. Pay for the tow, get the car out of here. I don't care. So I paid for the tow. I took the car home, and that was that. But, I just, like, it just makes no sense to me. These people that are, like, hardcore, like, back the blue, no matter what. And it's like, not anymore. They just been burned too many times, I just, every time I have an interaction with a cop, I get burned. Now, like that video we saw of the cop in Columbus, I don't think anyone got burned there. He did his job. But, just too many times I've been burned. I'm just over back in the blue. Anyway, that's all I got. I really didn't mean to chatter for another 20 minutes about this. It's just something that's been on my mind lately that I wanted to get off. So, I'm going to call my wife back, see what she wanted, because she called me like half an hour ago. So, later, Dink. We'll see you all in the next one. Maybe later today, maybe tomorrow. I don't know. I'm just winging it. We're just going off vibes now. We're just doing whatever vibe.